friends. Welcome once again to the broadcast. As you've been with us off and on the last, 5 sessions, we were dealing with a subject called hope, the necessity of hope. And we ended it supposedly last week. Well, here's the thing. This is about the whole thing on hope is a excerpt from about 4 hours worth of teaching. And we've been hitting snippets here and there. And we thought we'd pretty much close it out. But I knew there was one thing I wanted to say and I didn't get it in. This is the last session on necessity of hope, all right? Now, I want to deal with tonight hope's enemy. What is the enemy of hope? And you might say, well, lack of faith. No, that's a condition, all right. And the foundation of faith is hope. But before we get to the faith, we got to have the hope. So lack of faith doesn't indicate by itself, the enemy of hope. And you might say, well, just a lack of hope. No, that's a condition. But there is an enemy of hope, and it produces something which is not the enemy, but a byproduct of the enemy. And it's called double-mindedness. Double-mindedness. And we know James says this. Chapter 1, verse number 8. A double-minded man is unstable in how many? All of his ways. He second-guesses. He modifies his previous confession. All kinds of things. So to kind of nail this tonight, I don't want to go very long. Let's take a look at Hebrews chapter 6, if you will. Hebrews chapter 6. And let's read verse number 18. It says that by two immutable things in which it was impossible for God to lie, we might have a strong consolation who have fled for refuge to lay hold upon the hope that is set before us. Lay hold on hope. Lay hold on faith. So lay hold on eternal life. Get a full grasp of this. And so what he's saying here is it's our responsibility to lay hold, fully grasp this hope that's set before us. Something else, verse number 19. Which hope we have as an anchor of the soul, but sure and steadfast, we needn't go any further. Which hope we have as an anchor. The metaphor anchor needs very little explanation. What does an anchor do? It holds the ship steadfast. It keeps it from drifting in the wind. It keeps it in place where the captain wants it to be. With that setting, it reminds me, and I love this part of it because the Lord magnified this to me many years ago. In 1981, we had a downturn economy. My wife and I wanted to take a houseboat vacation with our kids. And I put it off, and finally we decided to go. It's 1981. And so we went. We rented a houseboat for 1 week on the Sacramento Delta up in Northern California. And so this is 1,100 miles of waterways, inland waterways. For one solid week, we'd go from place to place to place, anchor here, anchor there, anchor here, anchor there. But before we left the marina, I was given instructions. I thought it was even unnecessary, because I already had a boat. I knew how to drive a boat. I'm a mariner of sorts anyway. But the gentleman said, no, if you don't have a houseboat, they act a little bit differently. And sure enough, he told me various things to do, how to swing it around, this, that, and the other, which I would not have done. But the last thing he said stuck with me. He said, now, when you find a nice little cove tonight, trees on both sides, back in, let all the rope out, and bury the anchor. I said, no, he said, be sure you bury the anchor. I thought, well, okay. So our first night out, we did just that. We went around and had a great day, and it comes night, and we find this little slough. And I backed into that slough, and I remembered him saying, let all the rope out and bury the anchor. So I just buried that anchor, put it in reverse and buried it. Well, along about midnight, my wife hit me and said, hey, get up, we're moving. I said, no, we're not. She said, we're moving. I said, go back to sleep, honey. And she did, for not very long. We're moving. Listen. And so I listened. I could hear like, why now? Feel that the boat is rocking and up and down. And I'm thinking, yeah, just get up. We are moving. So I said, let me show you. I got up, went out. So that's a 28-foot houseboat. I looked over the side. The boat's kind of doing this. I looked over the side. Water's rushing past the pontoons. Just water, and the wind is blowing, and the boat is up and down. And I thought, well, wait a minute, I buried the anchor. So I went to the front of the boat, and that line that I'd set was taut. I grabbed it. The anchor held. But what happened? The sensation of movement was there. It felt like we were moving. It looked like we were moving. The water was going past the pontoons. The boat's going up and down. The tide was going back out to the Pacific. The water was moving, but we were not. But we had all the sensations of movement. What happened? The truth was refracted through the unanchored soul. The enemy of hope is the unanchored soul. You know you've done what you're supposed to do. Don't go and tweak it because all of a sudden some sensations or feelings come and challenge what you know that you did. When I looked down and came to myself, I said, I buried that anchor. We cannot be moving in spite of the fact that the water made it look like we were moving. The boat up and down, the sensations of movement. What happened? The soul refracted or bent the truth. It modified the truth. And momentarily I yielded to that. But the minute I realized I knew exactly what I'd done, you have to come to the conclusion it's not time to tweak God's plan when He's told you to do something and you've done exactly what He said to do as He said to do it. Don't let the unanchored soul be the enemy of your hope in God. Hope you were blessed in this little series. See you next time.